Welcome to Raw Talk. As always, I'm going to now have two links down below in the description box. The official video recap by WWE and just the bullet point of what occurred yesterday. So let's get into it. Opened up the show with a little Orton action. Is he now officially on Raw? Is he still on SmackDown at all? Is he a free agent? I'm not going to lie. I don't really know. However, I do know this, that the camera is a little bit different. I mentioned here before in terms of the overall presentation, but there's a look to it, a cinematic look, the lighting, just everything about it. When they zoom in on people during a promo or a match, that looks a little bit different ever since Kevin Dunn has been done and he's gone. And no, he's not related to Pete Dunne because that dude is a butchy bitch. Okay. So Gunther came out angry, but this was a great promo between Orton and Gunther. And in a rare display of a real heel move, we could see Ludwig Kaiserbun come in and attack Orton. I don't like when they do that, because just because you're heel doesn't mean you got to do a coward move, because Gunther is really good and so is Kaiser on their own without having to do that. They're now like a weird faction. They're like a two-person faction, but then again, so is Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, the Terror Squad, or the Terror Twins. No, Terror Squad is that group that Fat Joe the Rapper is a part of. Anyhow, speaking of, you know what I'm saying? Sheamus defeats the bitch. And during the match, it was funny because Sheamus was like, "Are you butch? Or are ya..." I don't want to drop the word too many times or it'll flag the algorithm and I won't get my nickel for my efforts here on my channel. It was a nice match, and I enjoyed it. Xavier Woods rolling his eyes backstage with Kofi and Odyssey. Little pep chat from, it helps if I remember his name, Kofi Kingston to Xavier Woods, expressing his concerns when he was like, you know what, it does feel like maybe you're replacing Biggie, you didn't run it by me, never mind the Karrion Kross thing, right? But the seed has been sown, and I'll tell you why. Well, because of the match afterwards. Anyway, so that went well. Now, this was interesting. Maxine Dupree versus Ivy Nile, and it ended in a no contest because, well, you could see right here what happened. The Wyatt Six came out. What was nice, though, is the opening where Maxine Dupree went on a little flurry. I've been waiting all morning to say that line because it rhymes. I'm no John Cena, okay, but I got a few tricks up my own sleeve. Even though I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt, that's not the point. So where else is the trick? Wouldn't you like to know? So this was just nice. It was just nice, and then the crowd was like, "You effed up." Again, I got to be careful with what I say, because if I curse too many times, and Cole's just like, "Indeed, you did." And then Sister Abigail from Uncle Howdy, and it was just really, really nice. I enjoyed this moment. The point was that Ivy Nile retaliated, was starting to attack. And even though the match got ruined, it gave us a taste of what happens if Maxine is aggressive. And she's like, boom, 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 coming out strong. The fisherman suplex, throwing Ivy over the table, up against the barricade. Just all that kind of stuff. It was like, oh, whoa, where'd that come from? Right? So that was just nice to see. Because like I said before, I've been very critical of her before. Because it was kind of warranted, because she wasn't doing that great in terms of being in the ring. Sometimes some people feel the same way about Zelina Vega. I don't quite fully agree with that. I think she is pretty good in the ring. Zelina Vega, that is. I can understand why some people may think that Maxine just belongs on the outside. I actually really like Maxine. Doesn't matter if she looks good or if she didn't look good. Honestly, just her energy, how she talks, her... I don't know, her demeanor, just overall in WWE. I do truly do enjoy it. I do find that she kind of makes a better hype woman. than a wrestler, but I have nothing against her pursuing that dream to be a wrestler so long as she's going through the performance center and all that kind of stuff and training properly. And I think that's where a lot of people had issues with her, is because if I'm not mistaken, because I don't watch the product, I don't think she ever went through NXT. And you have people that kick absolute ass in NXT and they ain't wrestling on the main roster. So again, it's warranted for people to think that way. Moving on out now. Vignette promo with Priest and Ripley was really nice. Again, they're called the Terror Twins, whether or not that's official or not. And at Bash in Berlin, we're going to have Liv and Dirty Dom Dom Sloppy Seconds face Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. At least that's the impression that I got, that that's what's going to go down for that. Oh, there we go. CM Punk again coming out, high-fiving the crowd, including Samantha Irvin again. I just really like this because his energy again, he's just so happy to be back. And it does look like in the last little wee bit, CM Punk may have put on a little wee bit more muscle. He seems to be a little bit more bloated in a good way. I'm just glad that he's healthy, he's happy. That's really what it comes down to. Even though he's a Chicago Cubs fan, as a real face, he had the Chicago hat backstage, but when he came out, he didn't have it because it's that whole, like, you know. And he praised Florida Panthers for winning the cup, which I would have done the same thing. Kudos to them for that. Although most of the crowd seemed pretty lively, which is pretty good because Fort Lauderdale, if you've ever watched like Seinfeld or anything like that, you always get the impression that it's just like a retirement place. There's nobody under the age of 80 there. Clearly, there was a lot of people under the age of 80 there. What else? Oh yeah, he was praising the fans, you know, the people that flew all the way from Japan or from Somalia or wherever it was that was really, really far away, all the way just to come and see CM Punk for like 15 seconds. And he was just sharing that moment, that he's just so grateful to have so many people that appreciate him a lot. He seems to be mentally in a really, really good spot. I've never hated him. I may have questioned a couple of things here and there, but I was never against a CM Punk. I've always been pretty hardcore, like, CM Punk fan. Like, oh my God. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, he says he's like the Taylor Swift for men because he carries in his pocket a lot of these bracelets that fans make for him, which went back to the storyline of Drew McIntyre taking the bracelets. More than just the bracelet, it's the significance, right, that it means to CM Punk. It's the, I'm looking for the word, and I don't know the word, and it's driving me nuts. Sentimental value, jeepers, creepers. And no, I didn't look it up. I was just making sure I was still recording. So you have that. And there's going to be a strap match at Bash in Berlin. So they're strapped together, then they got to walk around or something, touch four corners. I haven't seen a strap match in a long time. Strap-on match, that's totally wrong channel there. That was awkward. Moving on. Oh, yeah. Then, what's his face? Drew came out. He accepted the challenge. New Day, Odyssey Jones versus the Final Testament. Xavier Woods, again, not happy. He was all like, I'd show you a picture, but I can't. Just picture, you know, different hair, different skin tone. He just was not impressed with Odyssey Jones reaching out for the win, for the tag that Kofi made. Again, they're seeding that, what's going on there? And I got to tell you, I don't know from a hole in the ground. Well, I mean, I do now the last few weeks, who Odyssey Jones is. And he's impressive. He's not just like some big dude, oh, look at me. No, the guy can move. He's got really nice charisma. And I'm just glad he's on board. If he ends up being an official member of the New Day, my veggie shake swamp water that I made from the bayou of Florida. There's no bayou, is there? I know Louisiana's got a bayou. Does Florida have one? I mean, they got the Everglades. Is the Everglades? I may have to Google that word before I start saying weird things that don't make sense. I know what I'm trying to say is that this was good, and the New Day picked up the win. But remember, it's the New Day and Odyssey Jones. It's not just the New Day. It's not official yet. What else do we got cooking here? This could have been more. Bronson Reed versus Miz in a no DQ. I thought it was a nice match. It was really funny that the ref Dracula was asking Miz, like, what are you doing? He's like, what do you think I'm doing? It's a no DQ match, bitch. I'm going to bring in the tables, ladders, and chairs is what I'm going to do. And then he got tsunami'd. The Miz, that is, lost the match. Kind of wish he would have won, but that's okay. This really puts Bronson Reed up on the pedestal a bit more. And as he came to go up top to do another tsunami, there you have it right there. The big son of a bitch came out. I almost forgot his name for a minute. Strowman, Braun Strowman, Jesus Murphy. Came out and just went, yeah. And that was it. There was no like back and forth for a couple of moments. I would have liked to have seen a little melee just for like 10, 15 seconds. There was none of that. Just two monsters staring each other down. It seems like next week they're going to have a one-on-one match, which that I can't wait to see. And that's where Braun Strowman, to gain some momentum, needs to, like, you know what I mean? Pick up that W. That saying is something I used to say a long time ago. You're just an L. You're just a W. Short for winning. Then all out of nowhere, it just seems like everybody's using it. Now I feel like I can't use it because it's no longer original. Dirty Dom Dom versus Damian Priest. They had a little vignette promo too at one point saying, hey, come out alone. Show me you're a man. It ended up with Liv and Rhea going at it a little bit. And then, of course, all of Judgment Day ganging up on Damian Priest and ending up with Damian and Rhea laying on the ground as the Judgment Day stand tall. I wonder who could eventually end up joining them. I want to say a name, but I think he's on SmackDown. I'm not going to lie. I got a pretty good memory. What I have a terrible memory of is sometimes remembering who's on what goddamn show. Because they keep swapping them around. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think like who could be, you know, potentially in their corner to add to the Judgment Day. Even though they're not the Judgment Day. They are. That's not the point. Triple threat match. This was pretty good. We had Damage Control and Zoe and Shayna versus the champs, Alba and Isla. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The champs right there. Isla Dawn. And it was nice. And they retained. There's something weird about them. It's like I like them, but then I'm like, eh. It's weird. But they're good. They're pretty good. I also really like Damage Control. Like, I really like Damage Control. Like Io Sky and just so good. Not saying they're not good. I'm just, okay. Yeah. And then, of course, Zoe and Shayna. I see them more as, like, singles competitors, but whatever. They're in that little new faction now with Sonya Deville. I forget what they're called now, that name. They got a new name. I forget the name. Do we care about the name? I don't care about the name. We're going to waste all day trying to think of the name. And then again, in closing, I didn't like this. Randy Orton versus Ludwig Kaiser. And Randy Orton did defeat Ludwig Kaiser. Except when you look at that thumbnail, that ain't Ludwig Kaiser. It's the General Gunther. Because he got involved. He allowed Orton to, like, win. Like, he only got a little bit involved. And I'm like, nah. We're starting that pattern twice in one night. They were renowned as the most respectable heels, not having to attack from behind and always interfere. But now they're doing it. And I'm just like, ugh. Because that's what was making them different. Like, Gunther didn't need his goons, the Gunther goons, to help him retain his championships for as long as he had it, for 666 days. Right? Where was Imperium when he lost to Sami Zayn? Exactly. Now they're doing this, and I'm just like, oh, man. I don't know. To me, those little things sometimes can really bug me. And then if you look over here, this is just completely random because I feel like he's just looking at me. Pat McAfee gives an emotional farewell on Raw because that is his last Raw. Thank God. I'm just kidding. Truthfully, I love Pat McAfee, and he's off to, the whole college football thing. He's going to be back in a couple of months when Netflix takes on Raw, when Raw goes on Netflix. Whatever. Got my words mixed up backwards. I do like him. I just don't like his goddamn DLC and his little compadres there in the deal. I thought it was just a waste. But him individually as a commentator, when he does that pencil thing and he goes, there's just something about his mannerisms. Let's talk about Pat McAfee for a second. I almost want to make a separate video on Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, is somebody that on paper ticks all the check marks of somebody I want to strangle and slap their lips backwards, upside down. Yeah. He's got the making of that dude you just want to be like, oh my God, dude, shut up. But somehow I never get like that with him. I should be. Anybody else gets a little McAfee'd, and I think I would have a big problem with it. He somehow pulled a rabbit out of a hat, and maybe somewhere else that I don't want to talk about on the channel, and just made it work. And there's no doubt in my mind, because of his energy that doesn't really feel too over the top, I feel like, truthfully, there's something magical about the chemistry that him and Michael Cole have. We've been very blessed, at least I think so. And this goes for any promotion, AEW or anywhere else, really. Where when you have the people doing commentary table, because we've had a lot of different teams, it just seems to really work. I don't recall, and I'm thinking, I don't recall the mouse wheels turning. Yeah, the hamster wheels turning. There's no hamster, though, turning. I can't think of a moment where I was like, man, this is some really terrible, cringy commentary. Why do they have this guy here? Why do they have that girl there or anything? Do they even really have a girl? Not really. They should. But anyways. Yeah, like I never thought I would see the day where Corey Graves and Wade Barrett would be together. Because it's like, they're like two heels, aren't they? It works. Pat McAfee gets a little wild sometimes. Not really heelish, but it works. They've somehow managed to make it work to where you don't have to have like a Jesse the Body Ventura and a Gorilla Monsoon, or a Gorilla Monsoon and a Bobby the Brain Heenan, like true heel commentators. There's nobody nowadays that's like a real heel commentator, and I miss that. I think it really adds a unique dynamic to the match when you're listening to it, which is part of the reason why I don't think I would enjoy going to a live event, because you don't hear the commentary. You don't. And all you hear is just nothing. Well, I mean, the crowd you hear and the people, ooh, in the ring, but I need that, like, play-by-play. It really adds to the experience, in my opinion. So, yeah. I've already made a video. I forget the team now. I talked about it in my other video, but yeah, there's going to be a new team. Michael Cole, I believe, is I don't remember. Honestly, I don't I seriously just don't remember off the top of my head. I think Corey Graves is moving over to Raw with Michael Cole, and then the new dude is going to SmackDown, and then eventually he's going to come to Raw, or it's the other way around. Either which way, it's somewhere in there. You know what? Give me a second. It's driving me nuts. Michael Cole has referred to... Okay, so... Oh, I just goofed up. Yeah, so Joe Tessitore and what's his face? Joe Tessitore. Oh, my God. Joe Tessitore and Corey Graves are going to be on Raw, while Wade Barrett and Michael Cole are going to be on SmackDown. I needed to close my eyes so that I could focus and not get distracted. So that's what's going to be happening, because the long-term goal, again, like I said before, is that Joe Tessitore will be moving to SmackDown when Michael Cole and Pat McAfee come back to Netflix Raw in January. And then Joe Tessitore allegedly, supposedly, is going to be the lead commentator on SmackDown, which sucks, because again, I've already mentioned this. I thought that reign was given to Corey Graves. It'll be interesting to see how it works out. I just know that I'm jealous. I'm not saying I got what it takes to do that shit. Are you kidding me? No. But I would like to have done that, even for like just one night. To do that. If I could ever win something, it wouldn't be to meet Britney Spears or anything like that. Well, no, it would be to have a night with Corey Graves or Michael Cole or Wade Barrett, just to be on the goddamn commentary team. Really. And to share that, I think it would be, for me, it'd be amazing. The world would be crying. It's not about you right now. It's about me. So I would rather do that than be a ref or be inside the ring. I was always, even growing up, a manager kind of guy, flapping his gums, or being on commentator. Or being on commentary as a commentator. This is why I couldn't be one. I get my words all garbled up. So there you have it. As always, if you enjoyed the video, I feel like I'm going too much forward here. Yeah. Thumbs up if you liked the video. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm and trying to make me more relevant in search results when people are looking shit up on the internet. If you didn't like it, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. I'll bend it in half, twist it, wrap it up with that strap. We'll yank it out of the socket. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally that would be great. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care, and if I'm lucky, maybe I'll see some of you in the next video. Bye for now.